Hello everyone! Welcome to another live stream. I love doing these videos with you. I love that we get to talk back and forth, and today in particular, I'm very excited because I finally get to show you, well, it's not really a first look. We did kind of do a bit of a preview, but I finally get to show you a more thorough look at the Color Companion that we are still developing, but we're getting close.
All these live streams of me telling you not to spill the details, now you get to spill
Now we can spill all the details. No, we've already spilled the details.
What
but
little details you haven't already spilled?
Hey, that's not fair. We have a lot to share with everyone, and I'm going to show you in a minute. We're going to just wait a few minutes for a few more people to jump on. First, just, I guess, general thank you to everyone who's joining. Thank you to everyone who's also supported us with buying the new color cubes. I have seen a lot of people just raving about them as they start arriving at everyone's door, and it's very exciting for us to see the photos of just everyone being really excited to receive them and already using them in art. There's a lot going on, which is amazing. I have here as well that I thought we could probably have a look at. I got a little gift from a hoo-hoo. So I do want to have a look at this in a moment. So we'll do that before we jump into the companion.
I don't think you got a good look at that because it arrived at the doorstep and you wanted to open it, and I was like, no, you have to save it for the live stream.
I have no idea what's in there, so yes. that's a bit of fun.
Could be anything.
I just also quickly hello to our members that have joined. Nessa, really good to see you again. Nessa, you're on a lot of our live streams. I love seeing the familiar faces. Rachel, good to see you. Good morning from Cairns. Nice to have some Aussies here. And we also have, who else? I saw someone else. Oh, M Rose has popped in again as well. So I'm sure we'll see more of our members. You know who the members are because they have the cute little pencils next to their name. And those pencils change color the longer that they have been with us. So it's a lot of fun with our members. I will give you one quick update just because I can already tell it's going to affect me in this live stream. Some of you may know I've been dealing with a displaced disc in my jaw for a year. And last week, I finally had some surgery to help with it. The surgery didn't actually solve the issue. It was more of just like a hopefully reducing some of the symptoms. So the disc is still out of place. But what that means is, because this is actually not just my first live stream, but my first time doing anything on camera, and potentially even my first day smiling since having the surgery. And already I can tell my muscles from just the first 2 minutes of this are like, whoa, overdrive, what are we doing? Because I've been so careful this past week to just try and rest my jaw and not move it too much. So if I smile less or if my face looks uncomfortable, that's what it is. If I end up in too much pain, I will be careful. It's more important that I obviously don't damage my jaw than I smile. So I'll find my balance. We'll see how we go. I don't expect it to have to stop me today. I just already have been taken back by how much just a little extra movement is like. So please bear with me on that.
You'll be smiling on the inside.
I will be smiling on the inside, even if it doesn't reflect in my face, but we'll see how we go. On that, it's actually probably a good day with the companion that this might end up being a little bit of a shorter stream than usual. We usually do 2 hours together. It's possible today it'll be more like an hour, maybe even an hour and a half, depending on how I go, depending on how many questions you have. I will hang around as long as we can to show you everything and to answer everything, and we'll just see how we go. And then later today, I'll be jumping back on with our members, and for today's members stream, I'm going to show you some more of the things that I've been building in Blender, which is a 3D software, for my next video that I'm working on that's coming out in December. I did that last week with our members and we worked on some stuff, and I have made a ton of progress since then. So I'm very excited to show our members a bit of a look at what I've been working on and to work on a piece with them.
Just for context, Sarah's very excited about the Blender. Very often I'll wake up in the morning because I'll have gone to bed and Sarah's still doing Blender, and I'll pull out my phone and there'll be picture messages from her.
Sending them to him look what I made, it's so pretty, look what I made. Can I, let me show them one, right? Because I made it, I was so proud of this that I put it on my desktop. Hang on, let me just work out how to get this. Can you give us this? Ta-da! You might need to go. There we go. I made this. I made it in Blender. I literally hand carved a jelly bean And then I learnt a bunch of the mathematical side of Blender, which is very fascinating, but also a little bit overwhelming. And use that to then build all the jelly beans randomly in the S shape. And then I learnt some lighting techniques and all this kind of stuff. So I'm really excited that I was able to make this. This was yesterday.
Every time I see like you with jelly beans, it reminds me of when you won that paint bucket of jelly beans.
Yeah.
From like Candy Crush or something.
No, it wasn't Candy Crush. It was from Dulux, which is a paint company here in Australia. And they made a Candy Crush-like game.
Years ago. This
might have been like 10 years ago, maybe more. And no, it would have been a bit more than that. And anyone that got into like the finals of each of the different colors, because they had like almost mini games for each color, if you got into like the top 10 or the top 5, you won a Dulux can of paint full of jelly beans. And so I got in the top 5 or 10 of green, like I just made it in. And so for the first time ever, my gaming skills paid off in real life, and I won a whole big can
of only
green jelly beans, which was really fun for about the first week. And then it was like, how do we get rid of all these green jelly beans? I'm so sick of green jelly beans.
That would have been great to have when you did like the only green colouring.
Oh, it would have been so good.
But anyway.
So moving on, I'm going to put something else back up on that screen share. Let's get that back up. So who is that handsome voice? That would be my husband, Shane.
No one has ever referred to my voice that way.
Handsome voice.
Yeah.
Handsome face to go with the handsome voice.
Face for radio.
No, that's not true. I'm just skimming the comments to see who's here. So, hello to everyone who's joining. Heather, Marie, Donna, Rachel, Pia, Martha. I know it just sounds like I'm just reading your names, but I'm also skimming your comments at the same time. This is the multitasking side of me. It struggles with keeping up with your comments. Shane's also reading the comments, so he'll let me know if there's questions that come in.
What does the shirt say?
This is Evan and Caitlin feature. Make, fail, make. This is by the wonderful Evan and Caitlin, also on YouTube. I got a few of their different shirts and sweaters recently, and I really like them. So I'm wearing them a lot. I almost today put on the sweater as well. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I wore that in the last live stream. I don't want to be wearing the same outfit again, even though it's like secretly one of my new favorite things. Sarah Chalk says, hi, disembodied voice of Shane. Always Sarah's
Hello.
role. Dorothy's from Melbourne as well. That's cool.
I've got some members, Izzy, Katz, Terry.
Awesome. Looks like we actually have a lot of people joining us today. So Izzy, welcome. Katz V in LA, welcome. And Terry, good to see you again as well. So let's jump in. I think we should start with seeing what's in this special Bigger Hoo Hoo box because it looks really fun and I'm really curious. So we're going to do this. And then after this, we're going to jump into the Colour Companion and I'm going to give you the tour and hopefully my jaw will hold out and we'll see how we go.
I actually didn't set up an overhead camera, so you're going to have to like...
I'm going to have to like really showcase. Can I, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just...
you.
Let's just move this out of the way. That's my comments. So I won't be able to read your comments for a moment, but we'll come back to that. Okay. So, just showing you just... Ooh. Woohoo! Maybe give me the front camera. All right. So, here we have a gift from a Hoo Hoo. For a start, this is kind of a cute little fun box. We have 2026. These are like die cuts, maybe? Let's have a look. Presents are fun. Little 2026 a Hoo Hoo. Oh, it's a calendar. Oh, that's cute. Look at that.
That looks fun.
Yeah, it's a die cut calendar. So they would sit, so it's like a bit of a little garden. And then as you get rid of each month, the garden
slowly dies.
The garden slowly dies. Oh, that's cute though. I like that. Fun. Smells nice too. Smells like good quality paper.
They should have started like with the other way around. So as you get to December, like you add.
You add them.
I don't know.
I don't know how that one worked. Yeah.
Looks cool.
This is cool. You could probably too, if you're creative, like layer them. Oh, there's a volcano at the back. Oh, okay. You could probably even like layer them a bit.
So does the garden slowly die and then the volcano like finishes off whatever survived at that point? Or
maybe there's a dodo bird. No, toucan. Sorry, not a dodo bird. There's layers to that, so that's kind of fun. All right, have a look at that later as well. Thank you for being a fantastic partner. Love you.
And also shout out to all the people who are here at like midnight and 1 a.m. watching from all different places in the world.
The time zones I know have changed a few times recently because everyone has daylight savings at different times. So I think we're finally through all the daylight savings changes for a few months. We'll see how we go. All right, what have we got here? We have coloured fine liners, dual tip. I don't think I've seen these before. I do have their black fine liners, but I didn't know they made coloured fine liners. So they are cool. I'm not going to go demo all the products today because that's going to be a big distraction from what I want to actually do in this stream. Oh, this must be for the calendar because that looks like it would fit so that they stand up. Yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
That's kind of cute now. I like that. Okay. Not that I have anywhere to put it right now. We've got here, what's this, a bag maybe? Canvas tote? Tote, yes. What's it say? Draw, feel, empower.
We were thinking about making tote bags at some point.
Oh, it's got a pocket in it too. A pocket and a zip. That's like... The problem is, tote bags are great, but I feel like everyone also makes them, so you just end up with so many. I have so many tote bags and I use none of them. But that's pretty cute. All right, what else we got? We've got... What was that? Oh, it's a clip. But it's a Monstera leaf, which I like. Let me open that.
That's like your go-to plant.
Yeah, this is like one of my favourite plants. It's a little clip. I'll actually use that. Ha-ha! And then they've got a little hoo-hoo frog as well. Is it a frog or a lizard? Or a chameleon? What is the character? I think it's actually a chameleon. Or a gecko.
Don't chameleons like change colour? Maybe.
Yeah, with their environment.
So that would make sense.
A chameleon would make sense. And it looks a bit like a chameleon. There he is again. These are Kalalu. I swear, I thought that what was on that cover just moved. Maybe. Anyway. Where's my Evan and Caitlin box opening knife gone? Oh, here it is. We're okay. This is like my new unboxing thing for everything. It's way too sharp to be unboxing just plastic, but you know. It's fun. My team wonder why my floor is always such a mess. All right, what do we got? Let's have a look. I haven't seen these before. So these are acrylic markers. Oh, they're acrylic markers. I love acrylic markers, and I haven't seen a Hoo Hoo's ones before. They look really good. Okay.
Good timing to get them.
Yeah, I'm doing a video soon where I'm going to finally review all the acrylic markers, but so many brands are bringing out more. I don't know if we're going to be able to like do it without, because they're just coming out more and more and more. But I really want to try these because actually I've heard a few people say the Hoo Hoo ones are really good. So that we'll definitely explore later. There's so many like little just novelty things in here. That makes it so fun.
Isn't that what you want a gift box to be though? Just a
yeah,
box
exactly.
Of fun.
That was just a magnet, but it's like a cool, it's like paper and embossed on a, I don't know. How do I do no, that's not going to work for us because of the focus. I don't know if I can get you a better shot of that, but you can kind of see him. And then, more Monstera leaves. Clips. They're cute. I like the paper clips. We've got a Monstera leaf. We've got the Ohuhu leaf. And we've got they've got like a few little like characters basically. Oh, that one's a palm tree. Can you see them on there? Is that a good way to showcase them? Probably not. It's probably wrecking them because that board's so thick.
For the people just joining, what are we doing at the moment?
I have received a special little box of goodies from Ohuhu, so we're having a quick browse, and once we're done, we're going to have a look at the colour companion. There is a lot of leaves, and I love, like, I don't know what these are for, other than stencils, or maybe even just coasters. I don't know. But
whatever
they're cute.
you want them to be.
I like that they have Monstera leaves and so much stuff because I really like them. So we've got markers there. Oh, there's a thing here that explains all the different markers, which is kind of handy because I get mixed up a lot with the different ranges. This is literally the alcohol markers, and look at all the different ranges they have. So we have outline markers. I've not heard of these ones before either. These are those markers that are like silver on the inside and coloured on the outside. So I'll be curious to see if they do them well, because the only time I've ever used them was from Crayola and I was really disappointed. Oh, this is a fun Christmas one. Look at this.
Speaking of Crayola, have they gotten back to you?
Crayola have not gotten back to me. I've actually emailed 3 people 3 times since our video and they are quiet. So make what you will of that.
They're not ghosting you.
Make what you will of that. This is like, okay, so this is Nahuku acrylic markers. Do we have a new member? Who's our new member?
We do. Stranger Flavors just joined our silver member.
Oh,
So,
welcome. It means you get to hang out after this and do some Blender work with me.
And it means I got to press the new member button.
the button's fun. Okay, so these are a different acrylic marker. I am so confused by these brands that are bringing out multiple ranges of acrylic markers. I've got a lot to figure out in this upcoming video of like, why are they bringing out multiple ranges? What's the difference between them? And is one better than the other? Or is it like better for one thing or not? I've got some work to do.
Hey, Sarah.
Yes.
I just looked at Stranger Flavors. Maybe have a look at their profile picture.
I know who Stranger Flavors is. It's Renee. Hi, Renee. Renee is actually working with us now. As Stranger Flavors must be a reference to her love for sweet things. She's like me. She likes art that involves dessert. So she would love my big giant S. Maybe I should make her a big giant R made of jelly beans too.
I think she would also like the watercolour paint palette thing you have behind you. That's the other side.
Oh yeah, sorry. Side quest very quickly. See, Shane's the one who's distracted more than me. This was made. I brought this in my last. I brought this out in the last live stream. It's a waffle paint palette, handmade by Aussie Crafter. She sent this to me, and it was made specially for me. She said, "What would I like?" and gave me some options, and I was like, "Waffles has my name written all over it." It actually has her name written on it, not mine, because she made it, but that's not the point. So I have a custom personalized waffle paint palette, and I love it. I haven't used it yet, but it's sitting here in my set, ready to be used. Okay, so then we have, speaking of my set, one of the things that I will show the members later, and probably will be one of my projects today in our members live stream, I'm actually in the 3D Blender modeling my set. I've got pretty good. It's at the moment, because of the lighting, it looks like it's made out of like, it looks like a miniature set. But I've got the wall working. I found a ukulele, but I haven't painted it to match mine yet. And today I might even try and model the clock, because that'll be a challenge. We've got a Honolulu S alcohol markers. So I think these, but this is like a Christmas edition. So that's cute. That's going to be a pain for Shane. That rhymed. A pain for Shane in updating our companion, and I'll show you why soon. Every time they bring out a new range, more work. That is the bottom of our stuff.
I don't think Ohuhu takes the first place for the amount of different sets. I think that prize belongs to Tombow, who have about 800 different sets of 6 colours.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it'll be fun. So this was a gift from Ohuhu. Lots of fun. Lots of things I'm going to have a closer look at a later stage, and you'll probably see the acrylic markers featured next year. My plan was to do it as like my first video next year, but I don't know. I feel like I need to really make sure I give it the time so I can include as many brands as possible of acrylic markers. I'm not going to be able to get that closed again, so that is a problem.
Question in the comments.
Yeah.
What is a 3D blender?
So it's not like a...
We do have a blender here.
We do have a blender that has been used for art more than it maybe should have.
For blending pencils.
I may have put pencils in my blender. No, Blender is a 3D program on the computer, and it is what I use to make the, you know what, I'm going to give you another preview again, if I can get to it. It's what I use to make this. This was done in Blender. I'm actually, for my next video that we're working on at the moment, I'm spending 100 hours trying to learn Blender. So it's been a lot of learning. It's been very exhausting, but it's also been fun because I have been wanting to learn it for many, many years. It'll allow me to do a lot more creative stuff in a completely different way on the computer. And it actually also becomes like a way, so I'm going to model our studio because we're actually working on building a new studio next year, and I can then take everything and rearrange it and plan it out exactly how I want it for the new studio. It also means like I can build our color cube and we can animate it and make some cool little promotional stuff on my Instagram. Did we put it on YouTube as well? I've already put up a video. It was just like a really cool endless animation with the cubes that I made last week. So lots of fun stuff, but I want to move on because I want to show you the companion. So first of all, is there any questions, Shane, that we need to pause for, or can we jump in?
I think there's been a few questions about the companion so far, but I think you're going to cover most of them in
Great.
this. So I think we get into it, and that might answer some of the questions.
Awesome. What I'll do to start is try and get the water off my tape. Just point out, so to clear up, because a lot of people have been confused as to the companion versus the cube versus the digital cubes. So part of today's goal is to help you actually understand the difference between those things. So whether or not you have purchased the physical color cubes, you will be able to access our new companion. So I want you to, for the start of this, put your cube aside, and whether you have one or not, whether you have the new ones or the old ones, you will be able to make use of this website. So I'm going to put mine aside, but we will come back to that a bit later so that you can see how that can be used together. So there are some random questions here. I'm going to stop looking at the comments for a minute because very easily distracted. I'm going to show you this website, which, Shane, you didn't put me on the home screen. I can't go back to the home screen because we're still building it.
Yes.
So I can't get back?
No, sorry.
Okay, so let me start by clarifying that what I am showing you is still under development. So what you're about to see is not the final Color Companion website, but it's getting close. So what I'm going to be showing you today is how it will work, a lot of the functionality. If you see things that have a bit of a lag or if there's any glitches, please understand we'll be working through all of those before this is public. It is not available now. It is something we're still working on. Our goal was to have it ready in December. Fingers crossed that will still be an option, but it is possible that we will need a bit more time because I want to make sure we get all the kinks out and get it perfect before we have you come in and put all your art supplies in, because I don't want it breaking for you. So let me take you on a tour of what this is. So first of all, there will be a lot of things that you can access on this that are completely free to use. There'll be some things that you can even access without even creating an account at all. I do recommend creating a free account because that will give you access to most of the things that I'm going to show you. And there is a pro version available, which we'll go into a bit later, for people that want to kind of level it up even further. So first of all, this here is our Color Explorer. Now, whether you have the color cubes, being the old or new ones with the hex codes on the back, or whether you even just have a color from the internet, you can actually type that in here and explore that color. You can also just pick a color from the color wheel, and this is going to give you a ton of information about that color. So this becomes something that you can just come and literally explore any color. You can go darker and lighter here as well to start bringing out all kinds of other colors. Or you can come here. So let's say I've got this card here. If I wanted to find this exact color in this whole system, I can actually type in the number on the back. So this works for the old cube and the new cubes. So you can actually use this even if you haven't upgraded to the whole new system. So see here, and if you've got the new cubes, the names on the cards are actually in this database. So not only do you have the details and all the information, you also have the color names that I have gone to a lot of effort to try and collect into a big database on here to try and help you then more accurately find that color elsewhere, or at least kind of have something to identify it by. It is worth pointing out that color names are not universal, so the numbers are always a much safer reference if you're trying to match between brands and stuff like that. So this here, already, you've got every different color, you've got all the different values for people that are using it for digital work. You need these different numbers for different things. So if you don't know what they are, you can ignore them. Is the simple version of that. You also then have here a little button that will just copy that hex code. So if you find a color you like and you want to say use it in Procreate for digital artists, you can actually just copy that hex code. I mean, you could just highlight it, but this is just a quick button to do it. If you've got a free account, you can also save it as a favorite. And it will add over to a collection, which we'll have a look at later. And that's something that free users can do as well, as long as you've registered your email address. Now, when you're looking at a color, so I'm actually gonna go type, well, let's just use the color I've got here. So this is Antique Fuchsia. Some of the different things that we've added is you've got the color variations. So kind of like on the card here, how you have the dark and light, this is like way more steps of that same thing. So it will, for any color, pull up the darker and lighter so you can see, so you can quickly find other colors. You can also, if you click on these colors, you can actually copy those hex codes and repeat the process. So you can actually get every bit of information for every color that you want.
Go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole of just jumping between colors. It's amazing. You'll also have here a cooler and a warmer variation. So that's to do with the color temperatures. When we talk about you know, cool blue versus warm blue, I know that's the kind of thing that gets really confusing really quickly. So this is a good way to kind of just help you explore those colors and see how going cooler or warmer will change your color. So this is kind of just whether or not it's something you want to use for a project, or whether it's just to appeal to your curiosity. If you're a curious mind like me, a lot of fun to just explore those colors. So continuing down, we then have color harmonies. Now, I will say that the math logic I've got on a few of these, I do want to tweak a little bit. These ones here that it's pulled up is pretty good, but I would like to improve like the analogous matching a bit. But this is actually taking the color wheel and doing the math to give you the complementary colors for whatever color you pick. I will point out that if you're picking something that's like a very bright color, it's going to give you a bright match with it. If you're picking something that's more of a muted color, it's going to give you muted matches with it. So there's going to be some limitations, but it's a good jumping off point to help you just take a different approach to picking colors. If you don't want to use a color palette, or if you just want to learn more about colors that work well together, this can be really fun to explore. I'll also point out
here, if you
here,
have no idea what those things mean,
you don't have to use them.
Well, there's a little information thing next to
Oh,
it.
yeah, there's that too. There's these little hover things that will tell you what the different types are. So again, you can learn a whole bunch more about them. The other thing here that was really important to me that actually I've not seen another website do, because so far there is a lot of stuff here that you can do on Adobe Colors or Coolers or all those kind of things. But we want to make sure this is not just another version of those. Otherwise, there's no point. There's no point in bringing just a duplicate of something else into the world. We want to bring something new. Where this actually is different is most online... Whoa, what was that? Was that Moscow?
It was either an earthquake or my foot accidentally kicking the tripod. One of the two.
Okay. The most color wheels that online use, and sorry, I'm going on a slight nerd tangent here. Online, when they're picking color harmonies, most color things will use the RGB color wheel. That's red, green, blue. That's what screens use, and then that matches across with CMYK, and so a lot of people use that. I've always chosen, when it comes to picking colors that work together, and if you watch my color theory video from quite a few years ago now, I talk through this a little bit. I actually have found that when it comes to not mixing colors, but choosing color harmonies, you get much prettier matches in most cases if you use the artist color wheel, which is the RYB color wheel. So that's the red, yellow, blue. Those are the colors that a lot of you have learned in school as the primary colors. So I'm giving you the option here. I'm not forcing people to use the red, yellow, blue wheel because I know a lot of people don't believe that that's scientifically correct and therefore they prefer the RGB. So here you get a choice. So, I mean, you can even just see here from the ones that it's selected, the monochromatic doesn't change because that's in the same, that's the same hue. But some of the others change, like the complementary colors and the split complementary colors. Both of these are correct. Like they're not right or wrong, but you might find that the RYB generally will give you slightly prettier color combinations than the RGB. So just cool to have both options. And I think that's something, not many online color sources will use RYB at all. They just dismiss it completely. So, but for art, it's good. Now, there is another thing here, which we have matching art supplies. And this is probably the most exciting part about the Color Companion. So I'm just gonna go here to show, I think we can just press show result, right? I'm still learning how to use this too. Here we go. So I have put in here, and I want you to ignore this for a moment. I'll explain this in a second. Here I have all of the brands that I have added. If you have a free account on this, you'll be able to see 3 brands at a time. People that want the pro account will be able to see all their brands, but that's the only difference. Free accounts will still be able to use this. You're just gonna have a limit to 3 brands at a time, and you can mix those and change those at any point. This is taking the brands that I have chosen, and it's finding me the best pencil that matches this. And it's all done mathematically. It's not me that's eyeballed it like I did with our original companion.
When you select a color, it emails it to Sarah, and she's sitting there, and she quickly like whips out the art supplies and eyeballs it, and then she gets back to you.
Yeah, exactly that. That's actually not that. The original color companions that we offer for the old color catalog, I did eyeball all of them, which is great until you have, like in a case like this with the Prismacolor, where there are 2 very, very similar colors. In fact, a better example is down here, the Faber-Castell. There are 2 similar colors. This one's an 83% match. This one's an 82% match. Either of those would be a correct match for this color. It's just really up to you whether you want the slightly more pink or slightly more purple. So me having to pick that for you, honestly, it was so much work. And people disagreed with my choices, and that's reasonable. Instead now, we've got a computer to figure that out for you. We've built an algorithm that's also based on, for the color nerds here, it's based on the Lab CIE 2000 formula. That is the same formula that I've been using in the videos of like our Lightfast testing and some of the other stuff. It is basically maths that represents color perception. It's how humans see color, because not all color, you can't just use hex codes, because weirdly our eyes can like see a greater difference between really saturated colors compared to really muted colors. And we can more easily define the difference between like these 2 colors than we can define the difference between a darker range. So there are a lot of like things where our eyes work differently to just like a core rule. So measuring these, and a lot of color picking apps and color picking websites, some of them would use this kind of maths. A lot of them just match it by the distance of the hex codes. That is not as accurate. So depending on those different, there are a lot of tools out there that do something similar to this. We have built what should be the most accurate version of this that exists. That's the hope. So we put a lot of time into just finding exactly how to make that accurate. I mean, you can see here just from these choices, these like, again, let's just not look at these for a sec. Let me just, there you go. I'm hiding these because actually the free account won't see the alternate matches, and I don't want to confuse you for now. So just ignore them. They don't exist, right? This is what you'll see. But I want to show you, now that I've covered my screen and make it impossible for myself, if I was to pick a different color, so say this blue, we come down, we'll show our result again. Let's see how it matches. Look at that. Now, in this case, these are not great matches, 40%, 50%. I suspect that is because the color that we've picked is so bright that it actually can't be printed. So it's gonna find it harder to match for something super bright because you literally need it to be on a screen. If we were to pick more of a normal color that could be printed, so something like this, or even like a red, or I don't know, let's pick a color, come down and match that. We'll probably find that because they're not super, super bright, it's going to be able to find colors in the sets a lot easier. So here we go. So this here, I mean, the Prismacolor, I'm actually a little bit surprised it hasn't found a better match, but they're still pretty good. But you can see all of those, like if you're eyeballing it from, making it hard on myself, from this color here, they're pretty good. So, but again, so for our pro users, we're actually going to offer this alternative match as an extra. So if you look at this and go, that's actually way brighter than I was imagining, it will show you the next best option as well. And with these sets, obviously, if you only have 20 pencils in a set, it's going to be harder to find a perfect match compared to if you have a set of the Ohuhu being one example of, or actually the DMC, there are 500 DMC thread colors. So it's going to be a lot easier to find exact matches for exact colors. But if a color exists that is close, this will figure out which one it is. So that's all very exciting. There's already a question here, so I'll answer this now because I think this is really relevant. Of did you scan in all these colors with the NYX Mini, or did you upgrade or another way to get it all together? So we're going to be over time adding as many brands as we can to this. That does mean that initially we want to just get stuff in and then we'll improve the accuracy later, because for this to be as usable as possible for everyone, it's more important to have all of Prismacolor in than to have Prismacolor that 10% extra perfect. So for a start, we're actually taking the information that we can find from the manufacturers. Now I know that is not necessarily the best source, but it's a really good starting point. So we're going to start with that. And then over time, our goal is to actually swatch out every color ourselves, do our own measurements, and then update the system as we have those. We will have a way on each supply for you to see which method has been used to gather the data, whether it's a scan or whether it's sourced from the website or anything like that, so that you kind of know which ones are accurate. But I think in 90% of cases, with anything like this, there's going to be a level of always just checking anyway, just seeing, because to make it perfect is like 100 further steps, and we wouldn't be able to release this for 5 more years. So it's one of the things we're going to slowly, I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, you know how much detail really matters to me, and getting these perfect really matters to me. I'm also just aware that we are a small team and there's only so much we can do. So we're going to try and prioritize getting as much in as possible, trying to use those manufacturer details that are like 90% of the way there. And then we'll come back later and we will fine tune and really get the colors as accurate as we possibly can. And realistically, like as much as we've got the NYX Mini Scanner, which is what was mentioned in the question, we will probably look at if there's another option worth upgrading to, because we want to really take this project seriously, even down to the paper choice that we use for our scanning. So we're going to give it some more thought.
We actually have our internal database which has all of the brands, and like a lot of them have the status of like manufacturer colors live, but then there's another status of like scan colors live. So
yeah,
that'll be something that constantly be improved. And the good thing is, as soon as we scan in the new colors, they'll just be live on the website.
Yeah. So we at the moment, this is a website as well. I know there's already been confusion even in people messaging about whether it works on different iPads and stuff like that. I think I saw a question similar to that as well. Right now, this is a website, so you'll be able to access it from anywhere on the internet. I don't know, in the future, we might develop it into an app. That's like a whole different level of coding and development. So it probably isn't on our immediate roadmap. But if it's something that people later on think is useful, we will absolutely consider all options. So no promises yet, not on the list for the current launch, but it is something that I'm aware of. So there's a few questions here. Do we want to just pause for a sec, Shane, and help me get through some of these questions? I can see one here. Is there anything brands can provide you to make this easier? Yes, if there are brands that actually give us the data for their supplies, that saves us so much hunting. Because at the moment, if we can get, essentially we need from a brand their entire range in a spreadsheet or even just in a PDF at this point. And we need either the hex codes for them or we need the lab values for them. The lab values are more accurate, but most of our stuff is based off hex codes and then converting back. Again, we're going for like 99% accuracy, not 100%. There's always going to be that little bit that just takes 10 times more work. So we want to make this accessible for people. So yeah, if you are in contact with a brand, or if a brand is watching this and you want to be featured, email us and get us your color supplies, and we can then database it and get it in. Our goal is to get as many brands as we can over time. We already have quite a number of ones that are in or are in the process of going in. Shane has been hunting the internet to find any brands that make that information available. And in a lot of cases, he's then having to sit and type all that information, or I drop it from files to just get it in our database. So if any brands want to reach out and make it easier for us to include them, we are absolutely happy to do that. So what other questions do we have, Shane?
I think it'd be helpful at this point because there is a few questions about when it will be released, which we sort of talked about a little bit early, so you'll be able to watch in the replay. But I've also created a email list that people can sign up to. It's not our general mailing list, so you're not going to get heaps of advertising or anything. It's a audience that I've created specifically for the companions. So you'll be able to go there, put your email and name in, and even select what kind of updates you want, because there are some people who just want to know when it's going to be released or if the date changes, and there are going to be some people who want to know, like, hey,
every time
I've
we add
added
a
these
brand.
art supplies this week, you know, and so I've created that there, and I've just put the link in the chat for you, so you can add your name to it, and we'll keep you updated as much as you want to be.
Yeah, this is something that, and as well, this whole thing, like, we have a team of 5 people. We are working with some developers to get this to the next stage as well. But a lot of the work on this companion, a lot of the design that you see, a lot of like choosing the algorithms, how we can do it, has been Shane and me building a lot of this. We're not doing the coding, developers are dealing with that. But a lot of this work has been months of Shane and me personally sitting down, working out exactly what do we want, what would people expect, what's useful, and then what algorithms do we need to build in to be able to do that. And then we're going to be the ones trying to break this thing as well and make sure it works and make sure it's perfect. So because we are a small team, some of these things will take a bit longer. Ideally, eventually, the money that we do bring in from pro subscriptions will allow us to hopefully over time just continue to update, continue to add more features, maybe even eventually hire some people if it gets big enough to actually manage this completely. I'm very much seeing this as step 1 and the start of what could be a really, really amazing tool. And I hope that it's already incredibly useful to people. But for me, this is still just the beginning. And we will continue to work on improving the speed of it and the functionality of it, adding features that everyone finds useful, adding the brands that everyone wants. And we still haven't left the Color Explorer yet. There is so much more to this.
One of the terms that we've become very familiar with during this is scope creep.
Scope creep.
where we created the plans for this based on what we would love to have. And as it's being made, we've sort of had so many times where we've gone, oh, we'd love to add this in. We should add this in. It's like, if we keep adding things onto it, it's just going to make it take longer. So what you're seeing is literally version 1. Like
yes.
This is the start for us.
Yeah.
And that is, like, we have a lot of things that we want to add in there, like randomizers and art games and different things to make things better. But one thing I thought of, Sarah, that you might want to mention, you're talking about the whole color matching, the difference between different types of art supplies.
We'll come to that.
Yeah. All right.
Getting ahead. We will.
All right.
Let's start looking at some other parts of this though, because there's a lot more to show you and it's very exciting. And I do know that a lot of the questions will probably get answered throughout. So we might try and work through some more things.
And if you miss anything, you'll be able to watch this later.
Yes. At the end, I'll make sure that we hang around to try and really answer questions so that we can hopefully get through as many. There will be some questions that we just say, you know what, we answered that earlier, watch the replay, because we obviously don't want to waste time repeating the same 2 things when there's so many other questions to answer. So we'll work through that. For now, let me show you one of the next really cool tools and what I think is probably my favorite feature of this entire thing, and that is the art supply converter, which you did just see a little taste of, but let me show you at a bigger level. So again, free users will be able to access this. So again, we can start with the color exactly like we just did in the Color Explorer, and we can show the results for our supplies. Again, if you're a free user, you will just see the main match and you will see your free brands. But from this one here, if you have a pro account, you will see every brand that you have selected all on the one place, and you'll be able to export it, but we'll come back to that later. So free users, the exports won't be here, but there are some things we had to save for pro, but there is a ton here for free. So you can absolutely grab these matches, write them down, make your own charts. If you're someone who likes to build your own swatch charts and conversion charts, you could sit here and do it. And rather than having to match everything, you can have the computer do it for you with the brands you select. Further to this, you don't just have to start with a color, you can also start with a medium, which means if you're watching a tutorial and it's in Prismacolor, and everyone always does tutorials in Prismacolor, but I don't have Prismacolor, I have Brilliant, right? You can come here and choose Prismacolor, and I don't have Brilliant on here yet, but it will be coming, but I do have on here at the moment Polychromos. So let's see how that works. So when I convert from Prismacolor to Polychromos, it is going to take the entire set of Prismacolor Premier and it's going to show me the best Polychromos match for every pencil. So here, this is like, I know that some people have spent hours just building this one thing and you can do it in one click. So every Prismacolor pencil, every Polychromos pencil, matching from Prismacolor to Polychromos so that if you're following a tutorial, you can easily grab, and you can do this for any brand to any brand. You could also, just to be clear, if you do it the other way, you might get slightly different results because it's then going to focus on, hang on, make this a little bit tidier when we get to it. If you go Faber-Castell to Prismacolor, it's then going to use the Polychromos as the first point of reference and give you the best matching. So you might see the Prismacolors repeated twice if they just, exactly here, for example, where there are two different yellows here and they both end up being closest to this yellow. It's always going to base it off the first brand and it's just going to try and find you the best match. And in this case, these two are very similar, so it's picked the same one for both. But this here is like an incredibly useful tool. And again, this feature is available on a free account. So pro users will be able to do some of this other stuff that we've got on the side. They'll be able to export it, stuff like that. But a free account, you can do this, and that's going to save hours potentially in doing this. You might not be able to export it, but you can definitely screenshot it and do whatever you want to be able to make use of that.
I also love the fact that you could go from like pencils to markers or pencils to paints, or even I did pencils to cake icing. Just because that's fun.
Not on here. Yep. We have some cake. Shane's found at least one brand already. Now, I need to refresh this because this is kind of some of the stuff I was saying about of like we're working through some of the tiny little tweaks of like where one menu kind of disables another, stuff like that. We're going to fix all that. So don't stress if it's not working perfectly. But yeah, we could do Prismacolor to embroidery floss, right? If you're a card maker, or maybe if you're a card maker who likes to add like details, I've seen some people do it where they like stitch the cards, like almost like cross stitch, but on a card. And then you wanted to like add details with pencils because that would be a really fun mixed media approach. Maybe a unique example, but you could do that. And you could literally here find the best pencil to match the exact thread. So DMC is one of the first brands we've included because it's probably out of everything been the most requested thing to add. I realize in hindsight, we actually had, for some reason, that's listed twice. We'll be fixing that. So yeah, I mean, you just look at these matches. They're like almost perfect in most cases. There's like one or two where it hasn't quite found a good match, but most of them, it's like, wow. I'm blown away at how well it works. Like, just because even I've spent time trying to like perfectly match these in projects where I'll have the alcohol markers and I'll be trying to find the best pencil to like put on top. This will just do it for me. So this is really, really cool. There is another option here, which I will show you soon because it is available as the pro account or for people that buy the digital cubes. And that is starting with a color palette. We're going to come back to that. Next up, we have our color name database. So here you can see the entire database that I spent 2 months building of every single color name that I could find. Well, not every single color name because that was like 10,000, but I found what were the sort of good, like without having two that were almost the same, like what is a good range of colors that create really good categories for us. There's about 500 in here that separates the colors really well and covers most of the visible spectrum. So these are all grouped by their color families just to make things a little bit easier. You can click on any color, it's gonna show you the color, it's gonna show you other similar colors in the database, and it's gonna give you those details. And you can actually, from here, use this color in the Color Explorer or matching your art supplies or finding a color palette based on this color. Or you can click on these other ones and just kind of just jump around and keep exploring all the different colors just to see what else is similar? So it's a lot of fun. So that's a really cool thing he can do here too. You can also just look at all, or we have this other view for people that like it to be a bit more list-like, and you can search. So if I start typing in RE red, everything that has the word red in it, even if it wasn't in the red category, is going to show up. So if you're wanting something specific like teal, you can find it really quickly. So that's just a little bit of extra just for fun. So this is kind of just fun to explore. I'm going to skip Browse Color Palettes, come back to that. The next thing I want to show you is Browse Art Brands. So this is where you're going to see every brand that we have catalogued. There's going to be a lot more available when we do launch this. This is probably the biggest thing that Shane is personally working on at the moment, is adding as many as possible. I do also know there will be a lot of people with requests. So I will say that at the moment, we've kind of already got a big bank of requests from the old Companion, from the surveys that we've done over time, and just paying attention to what people use. But there will be an option in here where you will be able to make suggestions. And over time, our goal is to start with what are the most common supplies that everyone has, but eventually we'd love to go into like every little niche and, you know, find, like Shane mentioned, all of the different icing colors, like for cake makers, or all the different fabric squares from people that are doing quilting and stuff like that. Any brand that can give us a color list, we can include, and we can cover so many different niches with that. So I'm really hoping that over time, we will include everything you own. No promises, but that's the goal. I'm very ambitious on that, and I do like to make sure that we finish what we start. So that's my goal. That's thousands and thousands of brands. At the moment, we have about 8. So already Shane's loaded in the DMC, which you've seen, Prismacolor, Ohuhu, Caran d'Ache Luminance, Faber-Castell Polychromos, Tim Holtz Distress Inks, Liquitex Basics Acrylic Paints, and the Army Painter Wall Paints. So each of these you can click on, you'll be able to find out a bit of information. It's not going to have lorem ipsum. It'll have a bit better description and a photo. And from here, you'll be able to like shop for those supplies if you're just exploring, or you can see the whole range of colors that we've added. Again, here you can filter the different ways, and you can also have a look at the different sets available. So I believe this one, we only have all of them because it's being loaded. But an example would be the Ohuhu. Is that a good example?
I'd probably go Prismacolor.
Prismacolor, we know that one's set up. So in here, we can look at all the colors, or we can actually pick one of the sets that they have, and it will show us which colors in that set. So if you only own the 12 Prismacolor, you can see here the 12 Prismacolor. This is something that I have not seen any other brand, any other website do when it comes to all their color conversion tools, is letting you actually filter exactly which ones you own. I might be wrong. There might be some out there. Most of the time, it'll always just work off the biggest set. And if you don't own them, it's kind of just bad luck. So this will allow you to have a look at every different brand. And this is especially important for our next feature. Shane, do I need to take a break for questions, or should I keep going?
Maybe have a quick scan for questions. I know someone's asked if you can add your own art supplies. It's sort of like yes and no, which Sarah will probably be able to explain better in a bit more detail. If you mean uploading your own colours of, I have this sort of set of pencils that isn't in the database, no, you can't upload them yet. That's not something we've sort of planned for. But there is a way to add sort of art supplies that are in our database in the way that you have them, if that makes sense, which I think Sarah will
The next step, I'm going to show you how to load your supplies, but not, if we haven't put it in the database, you're not going to be able to add it at the moment.
We have a question asking about ink pads. Well, yeah.
Ink pads are on our list.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just having a look at what other questions we have here. Sorry, Cindy, just quickly, yes, you can watch the recording of this later. We always leave our replays up for our live streams. So if you go to the live tab on my channel, you can see this and all past live streams as well. So yeah, Melissa's pointed out, if we have a supply that's not in the database, can we input the number and build our own brand list in our account? If it's a feature a lot of people request, we might look at that at a future update. There's going to be a lot of things over time, and we'll actually, I would like to, I'm not going to promise because I don't know what we've got planned for the other track. I would like to make our roadmap of like future features. I would like to make that somewhat public so that you can actually not just see ideas that people are saying, but you can actually vote for like, oh yes, I'd love this feature. And then you can see which ones we're choosing to like focus on next. So that, especially for like our paying subscribers, that you'll be able to see what is coming soon.
There's actually a tab on there for roadmap. So
okay, there's a thing here that's what's new, and at the moment that's just blank. But that will include in it, will it, what's new and what's coming soon, I guess?
Yeah, that's we want to tell you of maybe there's a specific art supply that you're like, I wish they would have that in there. You might find that it's already in that list, and you'll know that that is coming soon. Because if you are like paying to be on here, you want to know what you're getting, what we're working on, and so we want to make that very public.
Yes, awesome. I'm just having a look at some other questions. Do we need the digital cubes if we have the pro access to the website? I am going to answer that because that question will make more sense as I show you the rest, and then we'll make sure that everyone's really clear on that by the end of how the difference works.
Oil pastels, soft pastels, yes. Anything that has an art supply you can use with a colour range, our aim is to eventually get it in there. So whether it's fabric threads, pastels, paints, watercolours, cake icing, Lego bricks.
Yeah. Lego bricks, yeah.
Anything.
And just because I know that there are people that are still coming in halfway, there's going to be questions that you just have to go back and watch. But just as a quick update, this website is not yet available. It will be the colorcompanion.com. If you're wanting to know when it's available, sign up to the email newsletter that Shane will post again. We will, for a general email newsletter, let everyone know as well. But if you're wanting like really specific updates on which features are rolling out, what we're testing, how close it is, Shane's going to actually set up a separate email that will even give you more access to exactly which brands, a little bit more of like, if you're really curious about this project, it's worth jumping on that. That's not going to put you on our main email list. It's separate. So back to this, I want to show you how you can use these art brands throughout the rest. Okay, so we have a thing here called My Art Stash. And the intention for this is that you can make your supplies online match your supplies in real life. And then that will allow you to use those in all the other tools that we've shown so far and more that's still to come. So what I mean by that is if you own, so here we've got Prismacolor or Hoohoo DMC, you will only see these in the drop downs on every other menu. You're not going to see every brand out of the 10,000 that we eventually want to have on this website. You're only going to see the brands that you own, which will make it a lot easier to navigate.
Unless you're a massive art hoarder.
Well, that's still going to be all the brands that you own. But further to that, if you only own, say, the 20 set of Prismacolor, you'll be able to here identify that you have the 20 set, and maybe if you open stock, you can add them too, and then it will use that set on all the other tools. Let me show you what I mean. So to be clear on this, I do need to explain the Art Stash is really the core thing. If you're wanting to get the most use out of the Art Stash, that is where the pro account is going to be the key. Anyone on the free account, this is where probably the biggest limitation is going to be, where you will be able to add 3 brands and you're not going to be able to select the 20. It's going to give you the whole brand. You can change those 3 at any point. So you can come in, do your conversion with Prismacolor to Polychromos, come back, take Prismacolor out of your list, put Copic and a Hoohoo in, go back and use the tools. You can still do all of that with the free account. It's going to be a little bit more work, but ultimately it can be done. Yeah. But if you're someone who wants the convenience of having all your supplies in and even just likes arranging them, that's where the pro account's going to definitely be worth it in this sense. So let me show you, when I want to add some supplies to this, it's going to show me the brands that aren't added yet. You can narrow them down with types and with brands. We will probably add a search function here as well, because again, there's going to be a lot of brands in here eventually. But let's say we want to add this war paints for the miniature paints. I can actually look at this product and it's going to show me all the different colors in this product. And then this one, we don't have all the little sets to show, but eventually, does this one have different sets or we just don't know yet?
Some of them I just haven't put in yet.
We just haven't got to yet. Maybe I'll go back. Would there be another one that we have an example or not really?
Go back to the Art Stash. I think the ones that aren't added in your list don't yet have sets.
That's fine. Let's edit our Prismacolor. Okay, this will show you. So at the moment I've got them all selected because I'd already added this one. But you can actually reset this, clear everything, and then you can quick add the set of 12 and it will tick all of the ones that are in the set of 12. You can also then stack on. If you've bought the set of 12, but you've also bought the set of 48, it will include all of those as well. You can also come and manually tick ones that you own, or you can add everything. And then if you've got a pencil that's run out or discontinued or anything like that, you can come and untick it. So the goal here is that whatever set you have, you can customize and make it your set. So I am going to go back now because I don't actually want to change the Prismacolor one that I've got set up. I'm going to add...
Just while you're doing that, because there's a few comments, there's a question about the Freeside is limited to 3 products, but people thought they heard that there's a limit of 20 for the Pro version.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... No, the Pro is unlimited. Pro, if you have 1,000 supplies or 1,000 brands of 30 each or 50 each, you can
That's a lot of art supplies.
That's a lot of art supplies. I don't know if it'll slow down the website. We'll figure that out as we start putting it into practice. There is no limit on the Pro account. So I don't know how I made that confusing. I'm sorry.
If you own all the art supplies we have in the database, then you can put them all in your art stash.
Yes.
If you have a Pro account.
So if we wanted to add, let me just add, say, like, not too many, right? Just a bunch. So here I've selected 11. So this will now show me. Now, again, you can load the whole set if you want. You can view it either way. You can search for a particular number or color. And then it's going to show you here the different ones that you've selected in your set. From there, we go next, and then you get to arrange the order that you want them in. So we're going to have the manufacturer default as the first option. Eventually, I'm going to add things like sorting by color family, which I need to kind of work out how I'm going to do that because quite frankly, that's probably the most complicated one because everyone orders things differently. But you can also have my order. So as a base, if you disagree with the order that we have put in here, you can actually come and drag and drop these into any order that you want and save that. So that will become your order for your set. So you can make it match your pencils in their case. You can make it match maybe your favorite 5 colors first and then everything else, or you can just follow the manufacturer order that's there. I will just add for the nerdy extra people that like to sort of know the details, the reason that the color family thing is complicated is because color is essentially something that has to be measured in 3D. Like the color cube is a good example of that, where even if you have your different points, there are so many variations of color when you go light, dark, all the different things that to measure color, you need a 3D space. If we're trying to put them in a color family order, that's one line. So we're essentially fitting 3 dimensions in 1 dimension. So there's no perfect way to do that because some people will want to go light to dark. Some people want to go, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. But then if you're going red, orange, yellow, green, blue, do you go every red, every orange, every yellow? And then do you block them? Like where do you define the difference between red and orange to know where to draw that line to shift over?
I feel like we're about to go down a rabbit hole like right now.
This is the rabbit hole that my brain has already been down. And there is no actual answer. And every version of it, I mean, if you're going like strictly by hue, then pink should actually be among the reds and the purples because pink is essentially light red. But then you've got magentas, and a lot of people kind of just group magenta in pink, and a lot of people group pink and like skin tones as like a separate category, and browns as a separate category, but technically browns are dark oranges. And it's like, it's mind breaking. And this is what my brain has been doing in trying to even for the color families that we have here, just trying to decide what we're going to be, these groups. I went a little bit crazy trying to work out where to define the line between orange and red. Where was my line going to be drawn? And even here you can see you've got bright, dark, muted, non-muted. So we decided to order them in alphabetical order because no one can argue with alphabetical order. But you can just see like, this is just reds alone. Oh, sorry, this is just oranges. How many oranges that you might go, well, that's actually a brown, right? It's actually an orange. And when you put it in the browns, it looks orange. When you put it in the oranges, it looks brown. It's an imperfect science. It's why they call it color theory because there are so many different approaches. And that's without even yeah, this is a look inside my brain. And that was just to make 10 groups, let alone to order them within the groups.
Now, for the questions about how the digital colour cubes and the pricing and stuff works...
We're coming back to that.
We are coming
We're coming to that, I promise. Okay, this was the art stash. I wanted to show you this because this now goes through everything else. So now when you're looking at your art supply converter, because we did add that, the extra... Hang on. No, it's not in here yet. Did I not add it? Have we not updated it?
I don't think you...
Did I not finish adding it?
No.
Wow.
I think you opened it and then you went back and you edited your Prismacolor.
Well, let's just add all because I just want to show you. That's a lot of colours. We're just going to leave the default order. We'll put a complete button at the top too because that was a lot of scrolling. This is like 10,000 colours in a brand.
Yeah, the DMC one took a while to scroll down. It's like 500 colours.
So here it is here. So it's going to add that here. You can now from here add it to your favourites. So free users will only be able to add 3. Pro users will be able to pick their favourite 3 because then in things like the Colour Explorer, those 3 will be the 3 that will show up. But you will be able to access them all from the other things. So if we go show results from our converter, it's now going to be added to this list here. You can from here also like pick specifically the one supply and just see that one result if you want. And for our medium, you're also going to be able to pick that one now from the medium as well, now that we've added it. So, and we can convert. So here we have our Warhammer paints versus Prismacolor pencils because we always use those together, right?
I really like this as well because you're not converting to art supplies that you don't own. Like there's no point getting a pencil number. It's like, well, that's great. I don't have that.
Yes. So this will only show the Prismacolor that you've said are in your set, which is the benefit there. So that again, that's a pro feature. For the free account, you'll be able to access and you'll be able to add 3 to the list and those 3 will show up everywhere, but you won't be able to select like I only own 20. It's going to show you the full set. Still incredibly useful, but not quite as useful as if you have the pro account and can filter through. Now, let's talk pro features a bit further because I've shown you a little bit. I want to talk about this thing on the side because I know that that's been sitting there and I've been trying to hide it, but not hide it, but I'm trying not to confuse you. Let me explain what this is. So if we're matching, let's pull the color from our card. What do we got here? Of course we have to do the teal. I'm going to type this in for FB.
I'm surprised that blue is the default when you open it. It's not like your teal.
We
might have to change that.
We should make the default teal when you open it.
It should be the teal that is the
teal that's like this color. Yeah. That's a good idea. Okay, so this is our, look at that. So that's that color now here. All right. So again, that's where if you don't have the digital cubes, you can still use the physical cubes with this, even if you have the old ones. You just got to type in the hex code. A few extra steps. So that color will give us all the information we have. And then down here, we can show our matching art supplies. This second one here is the second best match in every set. So this is something that's available for the pro account where you'll get your first match, you'll get a second match. The first match is going to be pretty good in most cases, but if that pencil is like, I know with the Prismacolor sometimes, that pencil's the one that keeps breaking and it drives you mad, there's a second backup, another option that you can get to. In some of these cases, because these brands have so many colors, they actually have some pretty close second colors anyway. But the really exciting part for me, and it might not be perfect yet, it's something that I still need to check how the maths is going with this, is our suggested mix option, which is again a pro feature. So the suggested mix, if we just update our result here, is going to, and I think it's still calculating some, and it might be a little bit imperfect for now because we're still, again, in development.
Well, it doesn't have DMC threads
because you can't mix them.
So we've actually
we'll have a note there that says this can't be mixed, right? That's an example of what I'm about to explain where I have worked out different maths for different things. So pencils are based on layering the first color on the second color, or it might be the other way around. We'll put instructions to make it clear. A hoo-hoo is just, again, based on just putting one on top of the other. Acrylic paints are going to be more based on a mixing methodology. And then you've got like I mean, with the strands, you could technically just put 2 colors, like one strand of each, but it's not going to blend. So we haven't put the mixing logic in for that. There's going to be different mixing mats for different things because acrylic paints and watercolors don't mix the same. That's just the reality. So we've tried to separate. So every brand will try and work out what is the most accurate method. The reality is this is going to be imperfect no matter what because you're dealing with chemicals in most of these art things. So the computer is going to be limited in what it can predict, but it's going to get you pretty close. So in this case, it's not just if you don't have this color, but if you're wanting to learn a bit about mixing, this is always going to work in either half or 1/4 and 3/4. So it's very simple of like half this color, because realistically, like with pencils, you're not going to be able to mix 10% of one and 90% of the other. That's confusing to work out. So this is saying if you roughly mixed half of this particular pencil and half of this particular pencil, this is the result that you can expect. Now again, pencils, pressure and everything's a lot of variety, so you probably want to test this out with anything. The best result will probably be with like mixing paints because they are just going to mix better than most things. But this gives you a rough equation of what you can expect, and then it's going to tell you how close that matches well. I think we're actually intending on changing these percentages to words because I know the percentages is a bit like, is 80 good or is, you know.
I think we're going to make stars.
Yeah, like we're going to maybe use a star system instead. So it's like 3 stars is like great match and 2 stars is like, look, it's close. You'll probably see the difference, but it's workable. And 1 star is like, yeah, you should probably just avoid that
1
color.
star is like closest match to blue is red.
No, that has to be 0 star. Like that, I mean, you're right. Yeah, 1 star is probably not a great match. So we'll probably change it to that system to just be a bit more user-friendly. These, again, it's not going to be a perfect science because art supplies are physical things. We're doing all this maths on a computer, not on a paint thing. But the point of this is to give you tools to help you take those steps so that you don't have to guess what colors might work. You can kind of use this to try and get a bit closer and then obviously work through the rest. Because even here, this color is actually closer to our original color than this pencil. And you can mix these 2 colors, but in theory, if you mix this pencil and just added a little bit of something else, you're probably going to get closer to that. So this is not necessarily the best combination. It's just the best combination based on a half-half split. So it's intended to be an extra tool. It's not going to be perfect in every scenario, but the point here is to just give you more tools to explore color. Does that make sense to everyone? Someone says they love the percentages. Can we keep both or have a toggle? Shane and I'll talk that through more and work out what is the best option. Maybe it's something that, it might be something that we hide the percentages for now, but maybe in a future update we can bring back that you could actually in your user settings choose to show percentages instead of, like we can definitely look at bringing it back. I think for initially we're probably going on what's going to be the most useful for people straight off the bat.
We want to make it as customizable eventually as possible. And we're even doing things like when you create an account, there'll be US and UK English spelling. So the color names and things like that can be personal to what you're used to. And so we want to do that with lots of different things. But some of those things will take time. Otherwise, we'll just never have this release. Yeah.
There are quite a few people, Shane, this is worth us making a note of. There are quite a few people in here saying, let's please keep the percentages. So we'll talk about that. Let me know if you would prefer percentages or if you would like a simpler system. Because, I mean, we've already done the percentages. Maybe that's our launch and maybe the other version, I don't know. We'll give it some thought, but the feedback helps. That's really good to know. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this now as well. Either way, I think down the track, we will look at giving people a bit more choice with things like that in a future update. So the mixing here is really cool. The other thing I want to show you is the color palettes. Now, this is, oh, that's helpful. We've got a poll going, cool. This is probably the part where we're finally going to clear up the confusion between the digital color cubes and the pro account. So far you can see there are a lot of tools on this website before we even touch color palettes. That is what the color companion is. The digital color cubes are going to unlock them in this. So the pro account of the color companion doesn't include the digital color cubes. But at the same time, you don't need a pro account to access the digital color cubes if you've purchased them. I'll let I'll keep explaining this as we get a little bit further in. So there is here a browse color palettes function. That will depend on what you have added. So if you have a free account and you've not bought any digital color cubes, we're going to give you 10 color palettes to play with, to explore with all the tools, to have a look at, to get inspired. I know 10 isn't much, but there is also no cost to that whatsoever.
It's more to just explore the functions.
To explore the functions, to enjoy it. You still get everything else that is incredibly useful. So I believe it's still going to be an amazing tool. If you have a pro account, we're going to add every month some subscriber-only pro palettes. They will not be palettes from the color cubes. They will be new palettes that I am making that are online only, and they will become available in here. So if you have a pro account, that is what you'll have access to. And for every extra month that you're a subscriber, they're going to keep adding to your database. So if you join in March, you'll get the March color palettes. And then if you stay, you'll get April, June, whatever. But you won't get the January and February ones because you weren't joined. If you buy the Pro Lifetime, you'll just unlock them all indefinitely. So there's different options there for that. But let's talk a second about the digital color cubes, because these are where you're going to be able to unlock the palettes that match your physical cubes. And to be clear, you don't have to own the physical cubes to buy the digital cubes. You can buy any combination of things. So you can buy the physical cube, not unlock these, but use the hex codes like I showed you. You can have the original cubes, use the hex codes like I showed you, or you can, whether or not you own these, buy the digital cubes, and this will unlock everything I'm about to show you in here. If you don't buy the digital cubes, you'll still get access to the 10 free palettes, or for pro users, the pro palettes. It's a lot of talking. I hope I haven't confused everyone. I hope that I'm making it clearer and not worse. Let me show you the digital color cubes. So we have on here for now to show you, we've unlocked volume 2. So right now, all of the other features in this have volume 2 and none of the others. You'll be able to register. If you've already bought the digital color cubes, you will have already received a key. That's the code that you'll enter here to register it. You can also buy or register them from here if you haven't already, or you can do that at any point, get the key, and when this is all available, you'll be able to unlock it. From here, you'll be able to access all the downloads that everyone was sort of wanting to have, like the printable. We're going to make those available without the color companion as well. So for people who have bought the digital just for the printable and don't want to use this website, you can also download them from your download file. I don't know why you wouldn't just at least plug in the free version of the website, but I want to give people choices. So the downloads that you'll be able to access for each one is the printable PDF, which is going to be very similar to what the color catalog used to be, except it won't have all the interactive options. It'll be the printable.
It's for the people who want to take it to the print shop and have a book.
Yeah, for the people that still want it in a book. So you can still take that or just have the PDF. If you don't want to be logging onto a website to see the colors, you can download the PDF. You'll also here be able to download the swatch files, which work in Procreate, so that every single palette is preloaded in Procreate, or the ASC files, which work in Photoshop and InDesign and that, but they also work in a lot of other programs as well. So a lot of like Paint Clip Studio and those ones, a lot of them will use one of these two types of files. So I think pretty much any online program or any app that allows you to import color palettes or like the swatches, color libraries, you'll be able to add this via here. So that's what that is. But then you've also got the option here to actually browse these in the rest of our tools, which brings us to the browse color palettes section. So again, free users will have 10 palettes here. So all the filters and that are probably not going to be that useful, but you can have a play around. And pro users will have their online collection here, and digital color cube purchasers will have them added here. And if you own the pro and the digital, you have both of those together. So the different combinations will determine what you see here. Are we lost? Did that make sense?
It does. And I think for people who are a little bit confused, we've tried to give a lot of options because we don't want to just create one thing that everybody has to fit into, pay a whole heap of money and not use it all. So we've created a lot of options because we know that some people might like one cube and not the other, or some people might be on a tighter budget than others. So we've tried to make this really flexible, and that's why there is a lot of options there.
Yeah. So in this example I have on here at the moment, I have volume 2 only. I believe there might be some placeholders for the subscriber palettes, but otherwise, the 2026 collection, it's just a default thing at the moment. Otherwise, this is going to show me all of volume 2. The great thing about this compared to the old color catalog, other than just all of it being easier, but you don't have to have a separate way to search all the palettes for each different cube. They're actually all together. So this has allowed us to do that. So what you can do here is actually, if you want to do the whole sorting by collection, you can come here. You see here we have the subscriber palettes, which will that'll be all the pro palettes. My collections I'll come back to. And then you've got volume 2, which a bit glitchy here, but you can just see all the different palettes. Again, this is still in development. We're going to fix stuff like that. So you can see all the different ones in volume 2, and we can actually click on them and confirm, and it will filter to just that collection. So you can very quickly find the palette. You can also, instead of finding it by collection, you can jump into color and you'll be able to see that entire color database that we talked about. But rather than just finding the exact azure blue, you can actually select a bunch of different blues that are sort of similar if you're sort of not being that specific. So here, these blues are all fairly similar. So I can select as many of them as I want, press confirm, and it is going to filter to only show me palettes that include that exact blue, or that exact range of blues. So again, because this is volume 2, I probably, if anything, want to show more blues in order to see more of them, because it's still a fairly small range. And as you have more, like if you have all the digital color cubes, you're going to see a lot more there. The other option we have is sorting by keywords, which I've tried to add 10 or so keywords to every picture if I can. So there's a lot of keywords here. So like if I'm wanting, say, cakes and candy celebrations, let's say I'm making a birthday cake, I might also add chocolate. I might also add decor, which we have twice. Dessert. No, that's desert. Desserts. What else?
I was always taught that a desert has one S because you only ever want to go there one time.
So they might be some good options. I don't even know if volume 2 has that many desserts. It doesn't have the dessert collection. But let's see what we've got. Oh, did I pick the wrong thing or did our filter not work? Did I? Oh, because I picked decor. I'm going to take off decor. So you can also just come in here and tweak them too. There we go. That's more like fruits and decor, and not decor. The keywords I selected, fruits, desserts, stuff like that. And so that's all the ones from volume 2. You can also stack these filters. So if you wanted to look in, let's say in our volume 2 here, we could go cityscapes. Let's just see what that is first. Right, so we've got our cityscapes, but then if we wanted to narrow down maybe a keyword and we wanted to look for ones that are only sunsets, I'm sure that there'll be a few. Sunsets, show. Now we've got cityscapes with sunsets. So you can actually really narrow this down. So when you add like keywords, it's going to stack them on top of each other. So if we did sunsets and, well, let me show you. Sunsets and what's another one that would maybe have cityscapes? Winter, maybe? Or metallic. It's going to show me cityscapes with either sunsets or metallic or winter. So like this one here is like a winter city. So it's going to stack so you can kind of like get really specific and narrow it down. Obviously, the more palettes that you've unlocked in here, the more you're going to be able to find with this. But this is how you can now navigate. Much easier to find a palette than the old color catalogs, much more accurate. But we haven't even got to the exciting part yet. So once you've picked a palette, you can have a look at this palette at a quick glance. You can add it as a favorite. You can add it to a collection, which I might show you now actually. So the collections, you've got the collections here that we've defined. Every color cube has the collections, which is what these tabs now show you as well. But we also wanted to give you the option to make your own collections. So if you have a palette you like and you want to add it to a collection, you can add it to your favorites, which is a collection that is available to everyone. So free users will be able to have favorites. Pro users will be able to create your own custom collections. So I've already got some examples here where I've got like birthday cake ideas, Christmas ideas, favorite moody palettes, gradients I like, ideas for miniatures, painting ideas. So you can actually make your own collection of all of your favorite palettes or palettes for a particular project and build a collection here. So you can even just add a new collection and then we can make the collection name. So what should we call it? Moscow's Choice. All right. It's going to then create Moscow's Choice and give us this, and now we can add more palettes to this as well. So down here in your My Collection section, you'll be able to see all the colors you've marked as favorites or all the palettes you've marked as favorites. And that's, again, those two are available for free users. Pro users will also be able to have their subscriber color palettes and your custom collections. So here we've got Moscow's Choice and we've got all those other ones I showed you, but we've also got custom color collections. Like I've started a collection of dopamine colors because that's something that I've been playing around with. So here I've gone and found what are the colors that I would like to mark as dopamine colors. And those colors that you're saving can be from the color name database, or they can be any color from your color explorer. So I know someone mentioned like uploading your own brands. You can't exactly upload your own brand right now, but you could if you had a particular like custom palette that you wanted. You could actually use the color collection feature to like put in your own hex codes or eyedrop what you think those colors are and then save them from here to a collection and add them to that collection. So that could be one way that you could actually kind of build your own set. It's just the names that it saves in the collection are going to be the names from our database. So that's an important little note. At this stage, you can't add custom labels to your colors. Might be something we can add down the track. Scope creep. Yeah, any other questions on this at the moment, Shane? Or we keep going?
I think there's been some questions about how the pricing works and things like that.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, Sarah will come back to that.
Cool.
And then things about like the version 1 cubes and how that works in with this, which I think we've sort of explained a bit earlier on how that works. I think once we get to talking about pricing stuff and how the different combinations work again, that will probably clear up some of those questions that are waiting.
Cool. I'll keep moving then. I want to show you more about the color palettes because what I've shown you is just how to find a color palette, but let me show you what you can actually do once you find a color palette. So let's just grab this one. I do like this one. So it has here the number, it's got the colors. This information here on the new color cube will match what's on here. The old color cube's not in here, so I don't know why I needed to say that. So it has all the colors and it has the hex codes. And from here you can add it to your collection, or we can go more info to explore it further. And this is where it gets really exciting. So here, you can also just browse them from here, but it is easier to kind of go through the browse selection to find your color palette. But you'll be able to see a much bigger view of the color palette. We're going to include a description. At the moment, these are all just a default thing, but I'm working on it because one of the things that I want to do here is actually in every description include the name of the photographer who took the original photo. Because one thing that hasn't necessarily been clear at the start, but we need to clear up, is that we don't use AI for any of these photos. We don't use AI to pick the colors. I pick the colors myself, but the photos themselves are all by different photographers. And so we want to highlight them here because I've even made a really big effort to only trust sources and websites that I know are human photographers, not AI art.
Because I saw someone comment once they're like, this has to be AI. Nobody would be crazy enough to do all this work by hand. It's like
they haven't met me.
Well, yeah, you haven't been around for long.
Yeah, they haven't met me. No, I handpicked everyone in every thousand. And yeah, so these are humans. We're going to include that, and I will over time. I'm going to try and also, if some of them are like from There's 1,000 of them. So this is something that I'm probably going to tweak along the way. I've started with a few, but some of these are specific location photos. And if the photographer has included that information with the original license, I'd like to actually go back and find that. That's going to take me a while for all of them, but I'll slowly work through because I'd like to include that in the description just because sometimes you want to know where this is. Like if you're using this as a painting reference, it's really nice to know what you're painting. So I want to include that as part of the description. And then it lists the colors, which you've also got the details down here further. It lists the keywords that you'll see in the keyword database. It lists them all here as well. It also tells you which collections it's from, which is usually just going to be one of the color cubes and then the collection it's in. Here you'll also have the options to like it, to add it to a collection, to build a template with it, which is exciting. We'll come back to that. Or to download it in, so like the swatch files again, the Procreate, stuff like that. You can download the one palette if you want, rather than every single palette in the whole series. Or you can actually use this to convert art supplies. I'll show you that next. First, I want to show you down here. We have more information about the colors. So again, we have the dark to light for the whole palette. You can copy the hex codes from here. You can also add these colors as favorites from here. Or here you can take this one color and take it through all the rest of the website, find another color palette with that color, match art supplies, explore the color, lots of little things you can do with that. Or here, as a little bit extra, not just the dark to light, we have this toggle where you can then see all of that hex code information, because I know for some people that's really important. For a lot of the audience that we expect to be using this is going to be more useful. And I believe, again, if you click these colors, it's going to copy that hex code so you can actually then go explore any shade of any color. We want to really just make this like a fun, like you just get lost in the color. It'll be me. I'll be the one just like, oh, what's that color?
This is Sarah's brain in a website.
Down the bottom, I actually love this. This will then show you similar color palettes, mainly based off topic, sometimes considering the colors as well. And what it shows is also going to depend on how many you have unlocked. I want to find one where I can show you, because some of them, I actually did, so I used a bit of an algorithm to help me find the similar colors, but then I went and sort of handpicked them. So like this one, you can see it's like that city theme, but it's also very, my favorite colors really, the teals, the purples, very dark colors. A lot of these, it's found all the ones that are close to that. So you've got the teals, the blues, stuff like that. Also a lot of night scenes, but then it's got some other options here. Again, they've got similar keywords, and that's what it's kind of based on. But then I've kind of tried to handpick the ones that I feel have the same mood, the same vibe. So hopefully this becomes useful. If you find something you like, you probably also like at least one of the similar color palettes suggested. So that could be a really fun way to just go through all the palettes as well.
There's a comment here saying so many rabbit holes to go down.
So many rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Then let's see what happens when we can, for the art supply converter, should I go from here, Shane? Does that work out?
I think so.
Let's try. Art supply converter. We now go back to the tool that I showed you right near the start of this. But instead of starting with a color or going from a supply to a supply, we've now got, and now I've just lost the one I picked because I went back. We can now do this with any palette. So this palette now is here. I can choose my art supply, or if there's one that isn't in, so this will list the 3 that you've saved as your top 3, and then the others in your own stash will be listed down here. And if you can't find a brand, that's where you would update your stash as well. So this is the part where if you're a free user, you can just go change it around, come back, and it'll be there. And then let's press show results, and it's going to show you for this color palette now, here's the palette, here's your Prismacolors that are the best match for this palette. So that, now in this case, you can see that's not a great match for this. And that's where you might look at and go, again, for the pro users, the alternative match might be a better choice for this palette, or you might just try and mix that one instead. You'll have the suggested mix option as well. So again, this is just a much quicker way to try and, like, once you've found your palette, find your supplies. That's what this does here. And the availability of that will depend on which palettes you've unlocked in the whole thing. And free users will be able to see that first one. Pro users will have the alternative matches and the suggested mix as well. And pro users will be able to export. Now, the exports is probably the last thing that I don't fully have an example here. I think, does this part work?
Not on that page.
Not on that page
Go
yet.
back to the Colour Explorer.
The Colour
and while
Explorer,
you're doing
okay.
that, there is a question about the keys for the digital colour cubes.
Yes.
So if you have purchased a digital colour cube, either on its own or as a part of the physical colour cubes, in your order confirmation email, so when you get an email as soon as you make a purchase, it'll have a list of the keys in there. And then if you bought physical cubes, once they're sent out, you get another email that has like the tracking number in there. That will also have those keys listed in there. And what will happen is we're going to, over the next week or so, add in everyone so far who has one of those keys onto that mailing list, so that you'll get those updates, and you can either change whether you want more updates or you just don't want updates. But we want to keep you all informed. But if you are looking for that key, it will be in one of those order emails. If it's not, you can just email our hello@sarahnaeclark.com and our team can find them for you or work out what's happening with that. But just be mindful, because we are getting lots and lots of emails. It might take a little bit to get back to you, but we will definitely get back to you.
Awesome. I was only half listening to Shane because I was trying to keep up on your comments while he was talking. What I will say is that this poll has made it very clear to Shane that we should probably not touch those percentages in our initial launch.
Great.
That's less work for us, so that's great. So we will leave the percentages. We're saying it now. It will be percentages. We might roll out stars as an alternative option later, or maybe we won't if people are quite happy with the percentages.
And when
we provide a guide as well that will say like this kind of percentage range is good and stuff like that. So.
And when we launch this, we know that there will be some things that could be done better, or things that people don't like, and that's the good thing about this website, that there will be improvements all the time. So this will always be a work in progress.
Yep.
I think.
Now, I can see we do have a lot of questions still. I understand that the pricing structure is a little bit complicated. So once I've finished demoing it, we're going to spend a bit more time trying to make that as simple as possible. So we can talk it through, and you can let me know, is it clearer? I'll stay here until it's clear, right? I've almost finished showing you through. I do want to show you quickly. So I'm just on a color page. So I've picked this color here, and I've got my matching art supplies. I just want to show you one example of the export, how that's going to work, because I think this is going to be a really useful tool to people as well. Did I actually click that? No, I didn't. Okay, so the export options is something that I do want to really build out over time. It's something that initially we're just going to have a few options, and then over time we're going to build out a lot, because it's probably one of the more complicated things to build on this, but it's also going to be really, really useful. Give me a sec to just...
And I think we're going to have different templates for as many things as we can. So
yes.
We want to have swatch charts for your art supplies and project sheets and lots of things.
So Shane, you can give me this here. So this is an example, and when I say templates, you can print this. So this is taking that information that you just filtered from Burnt Sienna. You've got blank here so that you can actually swatch out your supplies if you want. You've still got the details here and a print of the color. And then here we have the suggested matches in each different set. So you can actually print this information. So one of the things that I do want to do, because we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail when we talk about the pricing. I know there are going to be a lot of people that want to like use these kind of features, but that aren't comfortable with the pricing. We will be looking at options for like even free trials and stuff like that. So there will be ways that you'll be able to access this stuff for a week, go nuts, print out as much as you can, and then shut everything down. Obviously that doesn't help us with, trying to keep this thing updated and doing more things. But I also respect that not everyone has the money to be supporting stuff like this, and I still want this just to be useful to everyone. So I'm not going to be offended if you use the free trial to get a ton of downloads and then you just ignore me. I get it, right? But I will be trying to build more and more stuff, and I hope that this will be worth for people to pay the subscription. Not everyone, of course. There is the free stuff as well. But I want to make this so useful that it'll just be a no-brainer in terms of what to spend. We've got here, so that's the art supply converter. This is another version of a different one. So same kind of thing here of once you've printed it, you can now use this with your actual supplies. This here actually says for this one that the mix isn't like, there's going to be little things that we're going to tweak and update. And I would like to, again, I don't know which features are going to be available straight away, because the more features that we add straight away, the longer it's taking us to launch this. And we're already like, I'm not sure if we're going to have this out in December. So some of the things that'll probably go on the later update list is things like perfecting these exports, where you'll be able to customize this further. You'll be able to choose whether you want it to be printed with the colors or whether you want it to be blank so that you can fill them out, stuff like that. I had another example here from, did I? No, I don't have it. I printed another one, didn't I? You'll be able to, I thought you had one, Shane. This is the
one I had is that other one you had on the desk.
But that's the same thing. Art supply converter. We had a different page of something. I don't know. This is going to be an option for the art supply converter, but our intention is that you'll be able to create printables from the color palette page. So like basically printing the one page of your color catalog, but with your own supplies listed, that you'll be able to print the conversion charts from one brand to another, and you'll be able to print that out so that you don't have to sit and copy everything across to your own templates or Excel. You can actually print it straight from here. So our intention is that we will try with as many different things as we can, and as long as we can get the computer to build it, because that's also in itself quite a big development task. So we're working on that, and that's something that even if it's not fully available straight away, it is something that I'm going to be spending a lot of time trying to make sure that we have the most useful printables with the information that you get in your searching on here. Hope that makes sense. So I think that covers everything. It was a lot, I know. But that is the Color Companion. And it looks close. There's like the core function is here and very, very close to finishing. But it's all the little things that, like, something takes too long or something breaks if you do a certain thing. There's all the little bugs that we still have to iron out. And so for that, we want to make sure that we do give it the time that we need. Our original goal was to have, our actual original goal was to have this ready when we launched the color cubes. But we didn't want to wait on launching the color cubes for all of this to be ready. So we decided to separate the two. That's why we're also not offering the subscriptions yet for this, because I don't want people paying month to month when it doesn't exist yet. You can buy the discounted Pro lifetime option. I'll come back to that. For anyone who knows that they're going to use it, you can get a discount by getting in before it's live. I think at the moment, Shane, I think realistically, this is probably going to be out in January. I think it would be very unlikely for us to actually have this fully ready by December, and I don't want to give you something that's not fully ready. So we're probably looking at January, and for everyone who has pre-ordered the Pro Lifetime, we're going to be sending out an update with that information. We'll probably also update the website this week to reflect January rather than December.
And the people who have ordered the digital color cubes, so
yes.
That's a part of, so the whole platform. Our aim was December, but I think we'll probably make it January, and we'll communicate that to everyone who has already ordered.
What I will still try and do in December is the digital color cube purchases will have things like the Procreate files and the other swatch files and that printable PDF that you'll be able to access from your account not in here. I would still like to personally aim to have that done in December so that you can at least open those even if you can't unlock it in the website yet. That's my goal. I'm the one who personally has to build it, so we'll see how I go for time. But that is still my intention. I'd like to at least get that done for everyone. We
have a comment from Sarah in the chat saying, "You're in Australia. Stereotypically, your bugs are not little." Yeah,
I appreciate
but our website is not going to try and kill you.
Yeah,
unlike our bugs.
All right. So, just looking at, is there any other questions about the features, or do we want to talk pricing? Me that said that we wouldn't be doing a 2-hour stream, and I'm pretty sure we've just come up to the 2 hours, haven't
almost.
we?
Yeah.
My jaw's doing okay. We're all right.
And I think if you are really, really interested in those feature details, sign up to the link that I've put in the chat a couple of times, and there is an option to to get more updates. And then that's where I'll send out emails and I'll have different screenshots of things that we're just like really excited about, things that are working, and you'll be able to see a lot more of that. But we also understand there are some people who are like, just tell me when it's ready. And so that's an option too.
I'm just going to open up our actual website pricing page to try and show you. How do I even get to that from here? I might have to bring over another window. All right, let's bring this over. Oh, no, I can't do that. Give me a second. Technical difficulties. Not really. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm bringing this up because this is a little bit easier to help me visually explain to you the pricing. Okay. First of all, for some of you have already ordered, so this will hopefully help you understand what you're getting when you're getting it. When you come to our website at the moment, this is the first place that you're best to sort of start shopping if you're wanting to shop.
And I've put a link to that in the chat.
Awesome. So this here is not the color companion. This is the color cubes. So you have the option for a printed cube, which is the physical color cubes that we have made, the second edition ones. You can buy each volume separately. You don't have to buy them in bundled if you don't want to. You can buy just one, or you can buy them in the white set or the black set, or you can buy the whole bundle. You can buy just the physical cubes if that's what you're wanting. Or you can also buy just the digital cubes if that's what you're wanting. So the digital cubes, again, there are prices available for every separate one or for the sets, or you can buy all four. So if you buy the everything bundle from the color cube, you're talking the printed cubes and the digital color cubes. Whenever we talk about digital color cubes, we're talking about those printable files, the downloads, and I'm talking about the unlock key for the companion. I'm not talking about the Pro companion features. So first option is digital color cubes, physical color cubes, digital color cubes. And it does get complicated with all the different bundles. That's just because there's 4 of them. And we want to make sure that if you're buying more, you get a bigger discount. So we've given you lots of different bundling options there.
Just while you're getting over to that, this is a web-based, the companion is a web-based thing. It's not a program. So you'll have a login. So you'll be able to use it on your tablet and your computer or your phone. If you get a new computer, like that's all fine. It's not going to be installed and locked to your computer. So you don't need to worry about, can I use this at work at home as well, or if I upgrade my device, that's all fine.
Yeah. Now, there are a few other questions here about difference between light and dark boxes and stuff like that. There's actually a lot of those questions are answered on the landing page. Best just to go have a look at that. The difference really is the collections that will be inside, and the website has a breakdown of volume 1, 2, 3, and 4 and the collections inside. The actual black versus white, the function is the same, it's just aesthetics, and it's the different collections for each. Now let's talk about the color companion. So the essentials plan is the free plan. It has so much of what I've shown you. If you want to know specifics, best to just watch this video again. But it'll allow you to do most of the color exploring. It'll allow you to match supplies. It'll allow you to compare brands. And if you have unlocked your digital color cubes in here, you will be able to browse them on that free plan. What it doesn't have. So the Pro upgrade, which I know is not going to be in everyone's budget. That's why we have made the free version so extensive, because I don't expect people to pay, right? I know some people are saying the price is too much. That's why we made the free version so extensive, okay? So there is a free option. If you want the Pro version gives you the ArtStash extra features where you can customize all that stuff. It gives you the color mixing suggestions and the alternate matches. It gives you your own custom collections. It gives you all of the printables, and it gives you those online color palettes that are an extra collection, regardless of whether you've already included the digital cubes or not. Again, this price does not include the digital color cubes. If you want them unlocked, you have to purchase them separately. That is the difference between the free and the Pro. The Pro Lifetime is just for people that really don't like subscriptions, because I'm one of those people where if you want to try this out for a month, I think we're going to be looking at in the future, especially when we launch, some free trial options for the Pro account as well. So please don't panic and be like, oh, I don't know. If you're not sure, don't spend any money right now. Wait until the launch. Try out the free thing. It might be enough. If you find that it's limited, we'll give you that option to do, like, even, I don't know what the trial will be at this point. We'll work that out. Even if it's a week, it'll give you a chance to actually explore the features and have a look. And then you can decide what you want. The Pro price, the subscription, we're not even offering yet. We're offering the lifetime because I know some people are like, I want it now. I want everything. And that's why we have the limited time offer on the Pro lifetime, where normally it's $200, which I think if you can calculate it, it's like if you're going to use this for more than 2 years, it pays itself off, I believe is like about that. Like the Pro, if you're paying you got monthly or yearly, every subscription offers you those different options. For the Pro, the lifetime is like, I don't want a subscription, but I know that I want this and I want it forever. I want the 10 years of updates. And so therefore it's going to be a lot cheaper than paying month to month. You can do that. And because we know a lot of people are just happy to buy it now, even before it's available, that's why we have the discount at the moment as like what we're calling it, the founding members special, because the people that are in it now are kind of taking a risk with me as well of like, I'm committing my money, not even knowing if this is going to be absolutely perfect yet. I mean, if you know me, you know that I'm going to make this as good as I possibly can. And the Pro memberships will actually be what funds us to continue to update this over and over and over. But I do want to give people that option of like, I got in early, I got in the ground floor, and therefore I got a discount. So that's what the Pro lifetime discount is. That discount will be available until launch. I have promised everyone that it will at least be available until the 31st of December. What I will say is that we will give you notice before we get rid of it. So again, there isn't a rush on getting this, and getting this with the cubes doesn't add an extra discount. So if you're unsure and you just want to buy the cubes for now, do that and you can come back and get this later. If you're someone who's like, I'm all in, I love this, you can get the Pro lifetime right now, and you'll then be on our mailing list, and as soon as it's ready, your account will be one of the first ones. So we'll probably even be looking at, actually, Shane, before we even, this is just me just making a suggestion, really. We haven't actually discussed
That's risky.
this. That's risky. I actually see that there might be an opportunity that, because we're going to be looking for a few people to slowly test this, because we don't want to release it to like thousands in the public and have it break. So I actually think that the founding members, part of that will be that they will get slightly earlier access than everyone else, because we're going to need a few people to kind of not quite be beta testers, but maybe of like, let's let 10 people in and just let them play with it and see and get some feedback and then make some tweaks to help us launch it public for everyone else. So it might even be just a week or two that the founding members may get a little bit earlier access, just because we're going to need people to test this out. And if they're the ones who are putting in the money beforehand, I think that's a nice little extra perk to get like a founding member early access. So that's definitely something that we'll be considering doing. So with all of that said, what are the rest of our questions? All right.
I think there are, for people who've sort of joined late, there are going to be people who have a lot of questions that it will be answered sort of earlier on. So I'd encourage you to have a read through the landing page, have a watch back on the replay if you want to get like all the details, because there are a lot of questions that are coming up that have been answered along the way. So best to have a look at those too.
One thing that's just been asked, pricing, because this doesn't have the USD versus AUD written on here. The landing page pricing is in USD. Is that correct, Shane?
Yes, it says just down the bottom.
Oh, it does say there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's not clear enough. We can look at making that a little bit clearer for everyone. But once you click buy now, it will take you, and then you can convert it. So I've just done that, and it's put it in Australian pricing for me because I'm in Australia.
Yeah.
So and just again, because this has come up a lot lately, we offer US dollars, Australian dollars, or British pounds,
and now Canadian dollars.
And now Canadian dollars. That's new. That's exciting.
Yeah. So it'll choose the one that's sort of best to you. If you're in Europe, you can change to whichever one you want, because we don't have euros in there at the moment.
We don't have euros, but that doesn't mean that you can't buy it in Europe. Same with the color cubes. You can buy them in Europe. We ship to Europe. We don't have euros available yet.
There's only
We're
about
working on it.
10 countries in the world that we don't ship to, and that's mostly just because the packages just always go missing when we send it there. So
Yeah.
highly likely we do ship to where you are.
I'm just scrolling to see if there's any other questions that I feel like we haven't covered. If I've missed your question and you still have it after all this, please feel free to post it again in the chat, like once more now, not 10 more times. And I'll try to just catch up to make sure that we have got everyone covered.
One more question. So with the version of the color cubes, because we haven't mentioned this in this video, we have two versions now, which is the English spelling or the US English spelling. If you are in the United States, you'll get the US English version. If you're in Canada, Australia, UK, Europe, and other places, you'll get the British spelling. So I know a lot of Canadians will be happy about that you'll get colour spelt with the U. And some of the individual colours are spelt differently.
So one question that I know has come up, and it is worth clarifying. If you buy the physical cube, does it unlock the digital cube? No. The physical cube and the digital cube are two separate purchases. Because we know some people want digital only, some people want physical only, some people want both. So we've made those options. So that, yeah, different options there. I'm just having a look.
If you are in the US but prefer British spelling, we have actually, that's probably the most surprising thing about this whole new project is how many people in America want the English spelling.
If I knew this, we would have done everything UK spelling from the start.
Yeah.
We put all this effort into going American spelling because that's where most of our audience was. And then that actually upset a lot of Australians. And so now we're eventually trying to, as we get a bigger Aussie audience, come back to Australian, like Vibrant Wilds, colouring on the front is spelt the UK version. Because that's more true to me. And I want to do that. Not only have I realised that most Americans don't really care and it's okay to have British spelling, but some of them prefer it. Because now we have the colour cube in both. And we have had a number of people reach out and say, I will pay for you to ship it from Australia. Can I please have the UK spelling?
I would add, we have probably had about 20 or 30 people who have said that.
Who've actually paid for it?
No. Who have
okay.
who have said, I'll pay the shipping. And then we tell them, because we don't make money off the shipping. Most of the time we lose a lot of money on the shipping.
When you actually know how much it costs to ship it from here.
When we tell people that it would cost something like $70 to send it from here, I think that's usually a deal breaker, which is understandable. These products are pretty heavy, and so they cost a lot to ship. And so we actually have fulfillment centers around the world to make it as accessible as possible. But if you want it shipped from Australia, you can email us at hello@sarahreneclarke.com, and Holly knows how much it costs. She can tell you, and you can decide, and we're happy to do it, but it is pretty expensive.
And for Canada, to be clear, Canada, you now have Canadian dollars, but if you don't want to pay Canadian dollars now, what was happening was you could choose the currency, but the currency doesn't change the spelling. They're very separate things. Everyone in Canada, they get shipped from Australia, so Canadians get the UK English spelling on all the ordered stuff. Well, not on all the ordered stuff, sorry, for everything the colour cubes. It's just the colour cubes. Because for some reason, it's cheaper for us to send stuff from Australia to Canada than from the US to Canada, and that just is mind-blowing to me. But Canadian orders come from us. They have been possibly even packed by me or packed by Shane, because we pack most of those ones ourselves. So, yes.
So you'll know that if you order from Canada, it comes from our house in Australia. We send it to you.
A little bit of extra touch. Okay. So there is a question here. Someone said, what's the benefit of getting the digital cubes if you purchase the Pro Companion? I'm just going to ask Leslie, have you been here for the whole live? Because if that question is after watching the whole live, I can come back and talk it through again, but I do feel like I've covered that. So just let me know. I'm just having a look. We've got some people here, Shane, offering to help us with data entry. We might eventually put out a thing of like, if you have stuff that you want to help submit. I don't know. I'm cautious about that because obviously the more people we have sending stuff in, we can't necessarily verify the accuracy, and so
I think
we will work out a balance, I think, of potential community input to help us build this a lot quicker without, like, I mean, Wikipedia is pretty accurate, but that's because it has so much vetting. Like, there is a benefit to community built stuff, and I'm open to that.
I would love to, and this is one of those haven't discussed things, but would love to get a lot more community help when we start working more on the line art library. I feel like that's a good community sort of input project, which we are still going to do. But that might be a good opportunity to get more people involved.
Yeah. Someone's asked, Lauren has asked, are the palettes indexed so that you can, yes. So you can draw any card from here, and the number in the top there is the same number that you will find on the website. So you can actually just type the number straight in and get straight to that direct palette. That's a good question that I didn't address.
They're also on the tab cards.
Yes, the numbers are also on these to help you. So, but yeah, that's a good question. And yes, you can just type in the number on the website to get to it quickly.
Can multiple people in one house use the same color companion? So if you're, if you're like, if you're in the if it's your family, like,
we're not gonna dob.
We're not gonna make your daughter have a different account to you. That's fine. I mean, all of the collections and stuff will be all saved. But I would say is if you start giving your login out to other people, then that's probably not cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to, like, just remember we're not a big company. Like, if you share your Netflix login, technically you're not doing the right thing, but a lot of people don't care because what harm does it do? If you're sharing your login for our thing, like, we are a small team and it does make a difference. So, look, it's kind of up to you, but I guess just something to consider. Plus, I mean, if you're sharing an account, then you're going to also be sharing your ArtStash and everything. So it's not going to be as useful to you. We've tried to make enough stuff really free. We've tried to be as generous as we can with this in all the time we have put into it. We're fully prepared that like 90% of people might just use this for free, might end up costing us money. We want to make it, and we want to make it useful, and we want to build it. I would like to think that we do have enough people that are really excited about the pro stuff that will equip us to keep building it. That's our motive for it, is that like once we have the money for it, and all the money of people not sharing their account details with everyone will allow us to keep developing. Eventually, I can imagine that even with this, we're going to need more tech support. And right now, Holly, especially since launch, has been getting 200 emails a day, and she's like doing most of that by herself, except for we have there's 5 of us. So like, it's a small team to be doing that. Hopefully something like this, we will eventually be able to have the funds to pay someone full time to actually manage the companion better. There's things like that just like, we do pretty well for a small team. We get a lot done, but there's always going to be limitations. So this is kind of one of those things for us. It's not about us making a bunch of money off this website. It's about us trying to bring something new to the world, and the money helps fund it. So it wasn't cheap to pay the developers to do that, and we took the risk and we did it. So at the moment we're making a loss on this, but we will we'll eventually get there. That's probably way too much information. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's very different giving your login to your family. I feel like that's kind of fair. Like, I've had people email asking if they can share a color key. I'm like, of course, it's your family. So
the only thing I would say is, so with the digital color cubes, your registration key will allow you to register it to one account.
Yeah.
So if you have different people with different companion logins, only one of you will be able to register that key, because I guess we don't want someone's registration key making it out sort of onto the internet and then heaps of people registering it. So I think that is reasonable. But within a family, if you're sharing it with your kids or your partner or whatever it is, that's reasonable. That's normal. So.
I love the comments. Donna, not sharing my login, don't want anyone messing with my ArtStash. And Alex has said, if you share your login outside your house, the Discord will judge you. Yeah, no, I think we're all good on that. What? There was something. Oh, someone mentioned the line art library. Yes, we haven't forgotten. We've been a bit distracted. We've been like the Color Cube launch, and this has taken up so much of our attention that I have admittedly put the line art library just on the we're gonna look at it early next year pile, because it just, this to me, getting this done, especially because we've already taken money from some people, I want to get this done and get this out there. And then our next big project is the line art library website, which is also going to be a lot of work. And I think we've probably bitten off more than we can chew, but I'm very excited about it. I want it to be like a database, and we've taken a lot of the feedback. There's a lot of submissions in the forms. We need to work out how to make that manageable, because again, like Shane and I are doing most of this kind of stuff. We have people in our team that help with other areas like the video editing and the customer support and stuff like that. Most of like the product development is the two of us, and I'm also doing all of our videos. So we're a little bit stretched, Still happy and loving it and want to do it all. Time is the limiting factor. So the line art library is coming. It's just a slow, it's coming. It's next on the list. So I think we've kind of covered most of the questions at this point. There's a few questions here that are a bit more specific, like changing user ID, password, stuff like that. Yeah, look, all the admin stuff we'll work out over time. The line art library is completely separate to this. There is a video about that on my YouTube channel. If you look at the video, it was about Amazon's coloring books. We talk about a line art library in that. So that's a completely separate project. That's just sitting on my desk as a note. I think that's kind of it. I love there are some unrelated questions, but we've also gone over time after I said I'd make this a shorter stream. And I do need to stop, maybe get a heat pack on my jaw and have some lunch so that I can come back with our members in, what do we usually do, an hour? Usually half an hour, but we've gone a bit over time. So in about 50 minutes from now, we're gonna do our member live stream. And for our members, I'm gonna be jumping back into Blender, showing you some of the stuff I've built over the past few weeks, because it's been a lot and it's been very fun. And we're gonna maybe model some stuff from my studio. I'm gonna show you my mini studio that I've been building. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit of a sneak peek here. Can I do that? Let me just find a picture. I want to show you the studio that I have started building. Nope, can't find it. Where is it? So that you can see what we're going to be playing around with in the members live stream soon. Shane, is there anything else you want to answer while I find this?
I'm just going to put the links for the companion updates one more time. And yeah.
I don't know why I can't find it. Blender project. Oh, I have so many. This video. It's going to be a big video. The Blender video that's coming soon. I thought I took a picture of it, and apparently I haven't. Oh wait, there it is. Okay, here. Here is my screenshot. Oop. Minimize this and this. Here is a first look at what my members were going to be playing with. This is my studio in Blender. I built this. I spent ages trying to get the artwork on the wall to match the artwork on my actual wall. So it's really cool. And because the lighting, to me, it looks like it's like a little dollhouse. So it's kind of really fun. And yes, there's a color cube on there too. Everything's perfectly to scale. So I'm going to be playing around with this in about an hour. If you want to join us, you can join the membership still. Shane, maybe just put a little link for people that want to join. It's Silver and Plus will have access to this. It'll also be available as a replay if you're not ready to join as a member now, but you want to join later and come back and suss it out. And I will be showing the final results of these in an upcoming YouTube video. It's the next one we're working on, where I learn Blender over 100 hours. This is just a part of it. I want to have some fun with our members with this. So thank you for joining me today. And yeah, hopefully this has answered the questions that you have. Hopefully there's, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Thank you for joining me. And we'll chat again in a few weeks with some more art projects of who knows what genre. It'll be fun. Talk soon.